Welcome to Mrs. Pete's Thrifty Living. I'm so happy you're here today. Today, I want to tell you about three ladies in my life from my childhood that I've always remembered. I want to tell you a little bit about each one and why they were important in my life. The first one was Grandma Walden. She lived right down the street from us. She was old. I don't know, now that I'm saying that I'm old, probably as old as she was and maybe older. I don't know how old she was, but to me as a young girl, I probably was maybe 11 or 12, somewhere in that age group. First off, we wasn't able where we lived to go to the library. It was in another little town and we didn't have one in our town. In order to go to the library, we would have to go uptown and get a library card. In my later years, I always had a library card. But at that time, we didn't have one. And she had a whole bookcase of books. I liked to read at that time. And actually, I looked in my bookshelf and I cannot find one book by this author. But it was Grace Livingston Hill. She wrote the wonderful books, and Grandma Walden had a whole bookshelf full of them. And she would let us come and borrow one or two books at a time, take them home. They were always like so interesting, the stories were. And then we always looked forward to going and visiting with Grandma Walden. Would go, I think she would serve us tea, if I recall. And I say us, I remember it's just me at that time, just going to visit her and having tea with her and getting a book and being able to come home and read it. And I don't remember what happened to her. This was just one phase of my life that I'll always remember Grandma Walden. The second lady I'll always remember is Lois Callahan. She was our Sunday school teacher when I was probably still in that 9, 10, in that area of my age. At our Sunday school, she would always make it so interesting. First off, we would have contests, little contests that little chart that would have our name, and if we brought our Bible, if we brought an offering, it didn't have to be a certain amount. If we brought a friend, there's 2 or 3 other things on it, and she would give us a sticker to put on our chart, and that was so exciting. And at the end of that, whoever had the most stickers would win a prize, and she always gave wonderful prizes. I got a paper doll. It was like a cardboard one that stood up and had hair, if I recall right. That was so exciting. We got to win prizes from Lois Callahan. We called her Sister Callahan at our church. And I'll always remember her. She made our Sunday school class so interesting. We got to win prizes. Isn't that exciting? For a little kid, and especially used to when we didn't have all the things. Kids get something just about every day, the time they go to the store, so many times. But at that time, we didn't, this was in the 50s, and we didn't get all those things like kids do now, I think. I'll always remember Lois Callahan. Third lady I want to talk about today was Evelyn Gadberry. She was our pastor's wife, and it was still around close to that same age period of time. They lived in the parsonage right next door to the church. And first off, I remember the first time I ever remember eating a taco. That was so good. We had tacos and they were awesome. And also I remember making donuts, and would make them and sell them, take them out for a fundraiser for our church. Those are things I remember. But the other thing I remember was I would go to her house, and I don't remember. I just like to hang around with them, and they let me. And she loved to have her hair brushed, and I would brush her hair. They pastored our church, like I said, her and her husband, and they sang wonderfully. And husband Doyle played the guitar, and they sang together, and it was awesome. Eventually, they moved elsewhere and kind of lost contact with them. But in the meantime, they had two sons and a daughter. I knew their one son the most, Ronnie, and he has a Facebook page. He's a pastor of a church in Oklahoma right now, still at our age. He's about my age, I think a tad bit younger. And him and his wife, still pastor. And then they have another son, Jimmy, and they are here on YouTube. They've been around a long time. I will put a link to their channel, Joy in the Journey or something like that. And I never got to know their daughter. Their daughter was a little younger than I was. But they had a wonderful impact on my life. I'll never forget them. And I'm just curious, do you have somebody that you just remember that had a wonderful, I mean, there's a lot of people I could name, but those have always been people that I always thought of and have a wonderful, fond memory of. And let me just also say, are you making an impact on somebody? The older of us, I know I have a audience some of us are older. Are you making an impact on some little person or somebody these days that they'll remember you for what you do, for their kindness, just reaching out to you? I hope and pray I can be that person. I'm not sure I have. I pray I have, but I don't know how to end this, so I'm just going to end this. Please come back tomorrow. I will have that video. I haven't decided. It's going to be real soon, the video of the cleaning the dryer vent out. I know you're going to enjoy that one, and I have lots of things planned for this week. I pray God will bless you. Don't forget, Jesus loves you. Make an impact on somebody's life today. And if you can do nothing else, you can always pray for them and give them a great big smile. God bless you. See you tomorrow.